In the ancient and sacred lands of Enai, nestled between emerald forests and rivers that shimmered like polished glass, there existed a kingdom where peace reigned like the morning sun. It was a land whispered to be touched by the gods, a place where ancestors walked among the living, and the wind carried stories yet to be told. At the heart of this kingdom sat Obiajulu, a king not chosen by conquest, but by destiny. A just man, draped always in the red and white of royalty, whose words calmed storms and whose gaze held the weight of wisdom passed down through blood and fire. Under his rule, the land flourished. The harvests were bountiful, the warriors strong, the people joyful. From the elders to the children, there was harmony. But as our elders say, peace is not the absence of danger, but the calm before it. One humid evening, as the crimson sun bled into the western horizon and the cicadas sang their ancient songs, the kingdom gathered under the sacred Iroko tree that guarded the shrine of Agbola Oku. The oracle, veiled in white, her face hidden by chalk and mystery, stood before the people. Her voice echoed like thunder across the silence. The river shall reject blood, the skies shall mourn, and love shall break the chain of destiny. The crowd stood frozen. Mothers clutched their children. Warriors touched the hilts of their machetes. And even the East narrowed his eyes in troubled thought. The prophecy hung in the air like smoke from an unseen fire. No one understood. Not even Dibia Okudili, the oldest and wisest seer in Enai. Yet fear does not wait for understanding. Whispers began to float like leaves in the wind. Suspicion settled in the hearts of men. The drums of warning beat softly in the background of life. Something was coming. Amidst this foreboding silence lived Prince Ifidiora, the only son of Obiajulu. He was the pride of the kingdom. Tall and broad-shouldered, with a calm voice that made warriors listen and a spirit so disciplined that even the elders praised his restraint. From the age of 10, he was trained to wear the crown. Sword in one hand, scroll in the other. Duty was his shadow. But fate has its own script. One vibrant Afro-market day, the air buzzed with voices, trading, laughter, and the rhythmic beats of talking drums. The market was alive, a canvas of colors, red peppers, yellow yams, blue fabrics, and the smell of palm oil and roasted corn. And there, in that chaos, he saw her. She moved like the wind between stalls. Her laughter rolled like river water over smooth stones. Her eyes, fierce and deep as the ocean, met his and held. Nkemdelem. She was not of noble blood. No, hers was a name spat with contempt by elders and court whisperers alike. The daughter of Ikena the Fallen, a warrior once accused of betrayal and driven to the kingdom's fringes. Her family name was a wound NRI had refused to let heal. But Ifidiora saw something different. Not disgrace. Not shame. He saw fire. Their meetings became frequent. Some by accident. Most, not. Beneath the great Udola tree, where time seemed to fold upon itself and only the moon bore witness, they would sit. Talk. Laugh. And slowly, like water soaking into dry earth, love took root. She called him DM, my husband. He called her Yugo M, my pride. But their love was a secret song in a land ruled by loud tradition. Word spread like harmattan fire. Palace guards began to murmur. Dignitaries cast sharp glances. And the Dibia, draped in feathers and bones, raised his voice in warning. The gods do not smile on this union. The prince walks the path of destiny. She walks in shadows. Their love will bring ruin. But Ifidiora, the lion of Enai, was unmoved. He stood before the council and spoke with fire. If love is a curse, then let me be cursed. I would trade my title, my crown, even my name, for one moment more with her. The palace erupted. In dark corners, another watched with hungry eyes. Obina, cousin to the prince, a man who wore a smile like a blade, sharp and meant to wound. Where Ifidiora led with honor, Obina schemed with ambition. He saw not love, but opportunity. At night, he whispered to the elders, the warriors, even the king himself. The prince is bewitched. The girl is no innocent. She is her father's child, bred in betrayal. She would destroy us from within. The tension thickened like evening fog. And when Ifediora refused to end the affair, the council took another path. They went to her. Nkemdilim was summoned in secret. She was offered gold, then threatened with exile, then pleaded with by the Queen Mother herself. And so, with the weight of a kingdom on her shoulders, she chose the only path that could save him. She betrayed him. Beneath the Udola tree, with the moon above and her heart breaking, she spoke words forged from pain. I never loved you. You were a foolish dream, Prince. Go. And forget me. Ifediora's heart shattered. His fist clenched. But he said nothing. He turned and walked into the rain, his royal robe soaked, his spirit bleeding. That night, the thunder cracked across the skies, and the river rose like it too had heard her lie. But the worst was yet to come. In the silence that followed their parting, Obinna struck. Like a serpent in the dark, he poisoned his Obiajulu's wine and turned to the people. Treason, he cried. The prince seeks to take the throne by force. The king lies dying, and Ifediora dares hide behind a disgraced woman. The kingdom shook. Confused. Angry. Hurt. But the gods are never blind for long. Nkemdilim, far from the palace and weighed by guilt, uncovered the final piece of truth. Among her late father's belongings were scrolls, ancient, sealed, and bound in secrecy. They told the real story, that Obinna, not her father, had betrayed the kingdom years ago. Her father had taken the fall to protect the royal bloodline from scandal. With the scrolls in hand and courage in her breath, she returned to the palace. In the grand courtyard, before the council, she read the words aloud. She laid the truth bare. Obinna's lies, his poison, his ambition. All of it. The silence that followed was not quiet. It was thunderous. Guards seized Obinna. His screams echoed through the night. You think love will save you? It will destroy you, just as it destroyed me. He was dragged away. Justice, at last, claimed the shadow. But the cost had already been carved deep. His Obiajulu, breath shallow and skin pale, summoned his son. My son, he whispered, voice as thin as wind, sometimes, destiny must be broken to be rewritten. He passed that night, but his final words lived on. Days later, Ifediora was crowned. But there was no joy in his eyes. No celebration in his heart. The people cheered. Drums beat. But he watched the crowd, and saw only one face missing. Nkemdilim. She had turned to live once more, her place still uncertain. Still outside the palace walls. But Ifediora, King Ifediora now, rose from his throne. He walked down the steps, through the crowd, and stopped before her. He took her hand. Firm. Sure. Let no one who chooses love over hate, truth over silence, or courage over fear ever be called an outcast in my reign. And then, with all of Enai watching, he raised her hand high. She is my heart. My truth. My queen. The cheer that rose shook the heavens. The sky cleared. The river flowed through once more. The prophecy had spoken of morning skies, blood rejected by the river, and love-breaking destiny. And so it had. Not with swords. Not with crowns. But with two hearts that refused to yield. Love had been the curse. Love had been the weapon. But in the end, love had been the answer. In the land of the ancestors, some stories are warnings, and others are flames. This, dear listener, was both. I hope you enjoyed the story. If so, please like the video, comment what you learned from the tale, and don't forget to subscribe for more untold fires of the motherland.